The best car is a Toyota. How many times have you heard that? Well, it's time to challenge that old saying. There are car brands out there giving Toyota some serious competition. We all know Toyota's reputation for reliability, but let's face it, they're not always the most exciting or innovative cars on the road. Frustrated with the same old options? You're not alone. That's why I'm here to show you some alternatives that might surprise you. In this video, we'll look at brands that are shaking things up in ways Toyota isn't. I'll break down what makes these cars stand out, from performance to tech features. By the end, you'll have a fresh take on your car buying options. So if you're shopping for a new ride or just curious about what's out there, keep watching. You might find your next dream car isn't wearing a Toyota badge after all. Picture this: a steep, snowy hill. A Subaru Forester's climbing it like a mountain goat. Meanwhile, a Toyota RAV4's spinning its wheels halfway up. This isn't made up. It's what drivers in snowy areas see all the time. Subaru's been doing all-wheel drive longer than almost anyone else. They've had decades to get it right, and they have. What makes Subaru's system special? It's symmetrical and always on. Always ready for whatever Mother Nature throws at it. Toyota has all-wheel drive too, but it's different. Most of their models use a part-time system. It kicks in when it thinks you need it, but by then, you might already be stuck. I've talked to lots of drivers in places like Vermont, where winter is serious business. They love their Subarus. One guy told me his Forester gets him to work when his neighbor's cars are still buried in snow. He said it's like having his own snowplow. We did some grip tests. We put a Subaru and a Toyota through the same slippery conditions. The Subaru won every time. It wasn't even close. The Subaru stuck to the road like glue. Why does Subaru's all-wheel drive beat Toyota's? It's always on, so there's no delay when you hit a slick spot. It's symmetrical, which means better balance and handling. And they've been improving it for years in some of the worst conditions out there. Subaru keeps making their system better. Every year, it gets a bit smarter and more capable. I'm not saying Toyota makes bad cars, but for all-wheel drive, especially in tough winters, Subaru's got the edge. If you deal with real winters or just want better traction, Subaru's worth checking out. But all-wheel drive isn't everything. It's great for some things, but there's more to think about when buying a car. That's why we're looking at other brands that are giving Toyota a run for its money in different ways. Next, we'll talk about a brand that's changing how we think about reliability. They're not just as dependable as Toyota, they're even better, and they're doing it in a surprising way. Stay tuned because this next part is going to be really interesting. Picture this: a Mazda CX-5 and a Toyota RAV4, both with 150,000 miles. You start the Mazda's engine, and it's quiet as a whisper, smooth as silk. The RAV4? Let's just say it's seen better days. I've been in this business a long time, and I've watched Mazda shoot up the reliability rankings. They're doing something right, and the numbers prove it. Here's the deal. Consumer Reports has been putting Mazda above Toyota in reliability for a few years now. This isn't a one-time thing. It's a trend, and it's backed by real data. So what's Mazda's secret? Smart engineering, plain and simple. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They're just making what works even better. Look at their engines. Mazda's not adding a bunch of complicated stuff that can break. They're sticking to what works, but they're always making it better. It's like they're playing a really careful game of Jenga with their designs. And it's not just the engines. Mazda's paying attention to every part of the car. They use good materials that last longer. Everything in the car works together smoothly. The result? Cars that keep going strong for years. Here's the kicker. Mazda's doing all this without fancy hybrid tech. No tricks, no gimmicks, just solid engineering that makes cars last. But Mazda's not just about reliability. They're making cars that are fun to drive too. Take the CX-5. It's turning heads because it handles so well. And get this, even with all that performance, Mazda's new cars are using less gas than ever. They've figured out how to make cars lighter and more efficient without making them less durable. So why is Mazda more reliable than Toyota now? It's a mix of things. Good engineering, quality parts, and a no-nonsense approach. They're not trying to wow you with fancy tech. They're just building cars that last. But being reliable isn't everything. Some people want more excitement when they drive. That's where our next brand comes in. They're known for making engines that'll get your heart racing, and they're giving Toyota a run for its money in more ways than one. Check this out. I've got two engines here, a Honda K20 and a Toyota 2ZR. Both have 200,000 miles on them. But look at the inside of that Honda engine. It's clean, like it just rolled off the assembly line. The Toyota? Not so much. It's showing its age. Honda's got a reputation for tough engines. And it's true. These things last forever. I've seen Honda engines still going strong when the rest of the car is falling apart. So what's Honda's secret? It's all about being precise. They're obsessed with getting everything just right. Every part fits perfectly, which means less wear and tear over time. I've worked on engines from all sorts of brands. But Honda, they're special. Their engines hit higher mileages before needing major work. We're talking 250,000, 300,000 miles. That's a lot of driving. Let's talk about Honda's VTEC system. It adjusts how the engine works based on what you need. At low speeds, it saves fuel. When you need power, it kicks in and gives you more oomph. Toyota's still trying to catch up with this tech. Why do Honda engines last longer than Toyota's? It's a few things. They're built precisely, they've got smart tech like VTEC, and they're made to last. Toyota makes good cars, don't get me wrong. But for engines? Honda's the winner. They make engines that'll run smooth for years, but great engines aren't everything. What about overall value? Getting the most for your money? Our next brand has something to say about that. They're changing the game with features and warranties that'll make you think twice about that Toyota. Stick around, because this next one might change how you think about car value. Picture this, a Kia Telluride and a Toyota Highlander side by side. The Kia's decked out with leather seats, a huge sunroof, and a big touchscreen. The Toyota? Pretty basic next to it. I've seen it myself. Kia's upping their game, giving you more bang for your buck. They want market share, and they're packing in value to get it. I've watched customers come in dead set on a Toyota, then their eyes go wide when they see what Kia's offering. Here's the deal. The Telluride comes loaded with stuff the Highlander doesn't even have as options. Wireless phone charging, smart cruise control, massive screen, you name it. And get this, it's thousands cheaper than the Toyota. But it's not just gadgets. Kia's warranty is huge. 10 years or 100,000 miles on the powertrain. That's double Toyota's. If you're keeping your car a while, that matters. Kia's quality is top-notch now, too. They're making solid, reliable cars that stack up against the big names. I've seen high-mileage Kias come through still running great. It's the same story with the Sorento, K5, and Sportage. These cars have tech that used to be only in fancy brands. And Kia's making it standard where Toyota's charging extra. Toyota still makes good cars, don't get me wrong. But Kia's the one pushing boundaries right now. They're seeing how much value they can cram into a car. People's views on Kia have changed. They used to be seen as just cheap. Now, folks are comparing them to Toyotas, Hondas, even luxury brands, and Kia often comes out on top. Bottom line, Kia's giving you better warranties, more features, and good prices. They're not cutting corners. They just really want your business. So next time you're car shopping, don't just go straight for Toyota. Take a look at Kia. You might be amazed at what you get for your money. Now, value's great, but some people want more. They want luxury, performance, something special. And there's a brand that's been nailing that for years. Up next, we're talking serious German engineering. Picture this, a winding mountain road. A BMW 3 Series carves through the corners like it's on rails. A Toyota Camry? It's just there. Not bad, but not exciting either. BMW takes driving seriously. They're all about performance, making cars that are fun to drive, not just functional. What makes a BMW feel so different from a Toyota? It's balance and precision. BMW aims for 50-50 weight distribution, placing every part just right. The result? A car that feels responsive and alive. BMW's steering gives you a direct connection to the road. It's like the wheels linked to your brain. You think about turning, and the car does it. Toyota's steering? Fine for highways, but not as talkative. Look at these handling tests. We put a BMW 3 Series and a Toyota Camry through the same course. The BMW's faster and more agile. It's not just speed, though. It's how the car responds and tells you what's happening underneath. BMW has this driving experience control. It lets you adjust the car's behavior. Throttle, steering, everything. Set it for a comfy cruise or tight cornering. Toyota? More one-size-fits-all. Here's a real example. Last week, a longtime Toyota driver came in wanting more. We took a BMW 3 Series on some twisty roads. After, he just sat there grinning. "I never knew driving could feel like this," he said. That's the BMW difference. It's an experience. Every drive, even a quick store run, is something to look forward to. So, BMW versus Toyota? BMW is more precise, more engaging, like being in a movie instead of watching one. But remember, this performance costs more. BMWs aren't cheap to buy or maintain. They're not for everyone. If you just need reliable transport, Toyota's still solid. Driving feel is great, but what about owning long-term? That's where it gets interesting. Another brand is mixing luxury, performance, and reliability in a way that's really challenging Toyota. Check this out. A 20-year-old Lexus LS on my lot looks like it just left the showroom. Supple leather, shiny wood trim, and a purring engine. Next to it, a 20-year-old Toyota Camry. It's reliable, but it's showing its age with worn seats and a cracked dash. Lexus isn't messing around. They're building cars to last, using top-notch materials and precise manufacturing. I've seen Lexus models with 250,000 miles that still look and drive great. They hold up better than other luxury brands. The numbers don't lie. Lexus beats Toyota in long-term reliability scores, especially for luxury cars. Take the Lexus RX. It has fewer powertrain and electronics issues than the Toyota Highlander. That's just better engineering. Consumer Reports backs this up too. Older Lexus cars, even from 15 or 20 years ago, still feel premium inside. No rattles, smooth buttons, and materials that last. Last week, a guy brought in his 15-year-old Lexus LS to trade. The engine bay was cleaner than some new cars, and the interior looked barely used. This car had over 200,000 miles and was still solid. Lexus builds cars with tighter tolerances and better craftsmanship. This means fewer sudden repairs down the line. It's all about lasting quality. So, Lexus or Toyota for long-term reliability? From what I've seen, Lexus has the edge. Toyota makes great cars, but Lexus takes it further with build quality and longevity. Lexus cars are built to handle more wear and tear than regular Toyotas. It's like they're overbuilt, in a good way. But maybe luxury isn't your thing. Maybe you want something tough and reliable that can take a beating. Our last brand might surprise you. They're known for performance, but they've got a hidden talent for reliability. Let's check out our final contender. Picture this: a Porsche 911 and a Toyota Supra on a racetrack. The Porsche's setting lap records, carving through corners like it's on rails. The Supra? It's trying its best, but it can't keep up. You might think Porsche is all about speed and fancy looks, but they're actually focused on building cars that can handle daily driving and track days without breaking a sweat. Porsche's doing things differently. They're making cars built to last. I've seen Porsches in my shop with hundreds of thousands of miles, still running like new. It's incredible. Here's something interesting: reliability ratings for high-end cars. Porsche's always near the top, often beating Toyota. Pretty surprising for a performance brand, right? But Porsche's making it happen. Porsche's engineering is so good, other brands are copying them. Even Toyota's taking notes. Porsche uses advanced suspension and smart weight distribution. This doesn't just improve handling, it makes the car last longer too. Let me tell you about a customer's Porsche 911 I worked on last month. It had over 200,000 miles. You wouldn't believe it by looking at it or driving it. The engine purred, the interior was tight, and it still cornered beautifully. That's real quality. So, is a Porsche 911 actually more dependable than a Toyota Camry? In many ways, yes. It's built to handle tough conditions every day. These cars can take abuse that would wreck most others. Think about it. A Porsche needs to cruise highways, tackle mountain roads, and hit the track on weekends. And it has to do all that without falling apart. It's a big ask, but Porsche pulls it off. The engines can handle high revs and extreme temperatures. The transmissions are tough enough for all that torque. Even small parts like bushings and bearings are built to a higher standard. Porsche keeps improving their cars. Each new model is better and more refined. They learn from every race and every mile driven and put that knowledge into their next cars. So that's the deal with Porsche. They build cars that last. Cars that can handle whatever you throw at them day after day, year after year. It's all about performance that keeps going. Alright folks, let's wrap this up. We've looked at 7 brands giving Toyota some real competition. Here's the deal. Toyota's good, but they're not your only choice anymore. These other brands are stepping up. They're coming up with new ideas and often building cars that beat Toyota in certain areas. Each brand has its own strengths, from all-wheel drive to reliability, great engines, value, fun driving, luxury, or mixing performance with dependability. Here's what to remember when you're car shopping. Don't just go straight for Toyota. Take your time, look around, and test drive different brands. Think about what's most important to you in a car. Maybe it's safety, fuel efficiency, or cool tech features. See how different brands compare in those areas. You might find a car that suits you even better than a Toyota. There are lots of great options out there, and now you know what to look for. Good luck with your car search.